secret to our success or failure is hidden in what we do every single day. And that's why we teach and shift into a higher gear. I want you to get 1% better, just 1% better each and every day.
Yeah.
And if we can learn how to do that, we can get rid of the excuses and replace excuses with what we teach in the book, which is a psychological phenomenon called cognitive reframing. Because one of the biggest excuses that most people make is, oh, I'm too old.
Right.
Or I don't have enough resources.
Right.
Or I don't know enough of the right people. I don't have this. So I invite you in the chapter to make a list of all the things you tend to come up with as an excuse, and then replace the excuse with what's called a positive affirmation or a declaration or a cognitive reframe that goes in the other direction. So when someone says to me, oh, I'm too old, I say, listen, your past experience has prepared you perfectly for this new opportunity.
Absolutely. Peace and riches blessings. I am Michael B. Beckwith, the host of Take Back Your Mind. Peace and riches blessings, everyone. As you know, I'm Michael B. Beckwith, founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center, and I'm your host on Take Back Your Mind. And as you know, every week I have an individual that I get to have a wonderful conversation with, an individual in their own right that has taken back their mind. It's not hijacked by mediocrity, but is infused with excellence and the willingness to uplift and assist others. Today, I'm with Dr. Dale, Dr. Delatorro. And we've known each other for many of years. Let me tell you just a bit about him, and then we'll jump into this conversation. Listen, Hall of Fame speaker, highly acclaimed peak performance expert, global speaking coach, creator of Healing with Integrity. As one of the top 1% of paid speaking professionals globally, Delatorro is a trusted voice in the corporate world for leadership, team building, presentation skills, and personal and professional development. His latest book, right here, Shift into a Higher Gear, soared to the top of the USA Today, Barnes & Noble, Wall Street Journal best-selling list, and was named the top 10 best books for, check this out, for living your best life.
Come on.
20 years plus of experience as an international keynote speaker and accolades from Biden and Harris administration. Delatorro serves as a United Nations ambassador. He's doing some things. As the founder of the Platinum Performance Global, LLC, he has presented at the $1 Million Round Table 4 times. He's been featured on the Today Show 7 times and counting. Dr. D?
Love
Dale?
you, sir. Love you, my friend.
Hey, man, good to see you.
It is an honor to be here. I truly mean that. Thank you so much for this invitation.
I've been watching you for a while. Seriously, I've been watching your evolution, your upliftment, and how you have just become more and more yourself.
Come on.
You know, just bringing more and more of who you are to the audience. You uplift them, you inspire them. The feeling tone of your presentations are transformational. So I'm just glad that you're here with me today.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Thank you.
Listen, for the folks who don't know that much about you, tell us your backstory.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you come to the next level of your iteration of who you are today? What happened in your life that was significant?
So one of the things, Doc, that I was really blessed with early on in life was 2 amazing parents. Okay. I always honor my parents. My mother was a Sunday school teacher and an English teacher. So if you were going to be Olivia's kid, you had to be able to talk.
Right.
So from the time I was the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I got the longest parts in the Easter play, the Christmas play. I had to play Jesus, Moses, Abraham. All my friends got short stuff like Jesus wept. I got like 6 and 7 pages worth of stuff that I had to memorize. And what that did was that began to develop a skill of being able to articulate and communicate.
Right.
Every day at the dinner table, my mom would challenge my articulation, my diction, my speech, my language, my word choice. So I didn't have a choice but to evolve in this space. My father, my mom passed away 11 years ago. She's my best friend, love her, Miss her. I talk about her in every podcast because she was way more than a parent.
Right.
And I asked her all the time before she passed, I said, Mom, did you know that you were grooming me to do this work? And she said, I had no clue. I had no clue, baby. But I'm so grateful to her because she was such a pioneer. She was my first mentor. Now, my father was shot in the upper back twice fighting for you and I in the Vietnam War. Left on the battlefield for dead. This is a true story, Doc. They took my dad and put him in a room full of 600 dead soldiers. The only way they
thought he was dead?
They thought he was dead. The only way they found out that he was alive is because his eyes were blinking feverishly. And in that heap of dead people, and somebody saw him and said, grab that one, grab that one. The dude that was carrying the seed that made me, right?
Oh,
powerful.
Because you hadn't been born yet.
I hadn't been born yet, right? So my father is a disabled veteran. He's still living to this day, grateful every day. But my father taught me how to never quit and how to never give up. I've watched my dad do more from a wheelchair than most people who are fully able-bodied. So my mom taught me how to speak, and my dad taught me how to never quit, how to never give up, how to smile, how to have a good handshake, how to save.
Somebody just recognized.
Come on, somebody, right? Yeah.
A few minutes ago, he said, wow, your handshake is really something.
I think those old school values still matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. It's so important.
Sometimes old school is the best school.
That's
because
that part.
It's character, quality, integrity. There's certain qualities
Yes, sir.
that particularly people like us
Yes, sir.
had to over-embody
That's right.
in order to sustain and be resilient and make it in this world.
Come on. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So when you look at your arc of your unfoldment, obviously it started with your parents.
Right.
Was there any moments in your growth where it's like, I got to do this, or some challenge that you had to overcome? Or
challenge happened early. So sixth grade, I'm in sixth grade, and I was put in a room full of all at-risk kids because my parents divorced when I was 2. So, and I'm named after my father. So I wanted a relationship with him so bad, and he's amazing. We're best friends. But at that time, they went their separate ways, and so I was kind of longing for that. So I was acting out in school, right?
I got it.
And I was performing and trying to just kind of get attention, right? And so my first African-American teacher, her name was Miss Diane Williams. She's still alive to this day. She was my first teacher, first black teacher. And on my first day of school in sixth grade, she said, I don't know why. She came into the classroom, put our stuff down. She looked at everybody in the room, and she came up to me and she said, you're not a youth at risk. You're a youth at promise. And she said, I'm not just going to teach you this year. I'm going to mentor you this year. And she made me, every day at recess, Doc, this is a true story. She made me sit, I had 15 minutes with my friends. The other 30 minutes, I had to sit down next to her, and she taught me about life. And the first lesson that she taught me was, as soon as you were dropped on this earth, your potential took off ahead of you. And the whole race of life is about you catching up with yourself. Not the Joneses.
I love it.
Yes,
man. That's beautiful because, if the presence of God had human qualities and could be mad at us, God would be mad if we didn't activate our potential.
That part.
Because we're unlimited beings.
Unlimited potential.
And people are doing the couch potato vibration rather than activating potential.
Come on.
We don't want to waste potential.
No.
So she saw you.
Yes.
She saw the promise.
Yes.
And I like that. Your potential has already gone before you.
Yes, it's about you catching up to you.
Yeah, I used to say, yeah, I'm going to catch up to myself, be by myself, to be myself.
Come on.
So we're in the same lineage of your teacher.
Yes, sir. I think every time we go up to someone in the military, we should shake their hand and say, thank you for your service. But I think every time we go up to an educator, we should hug them and say, thank you for your impact.
Absolutely.
Because every one of us have a favorite teacher.
Yes, we do.
That changed the trajectory of our lives.
Right.
And long before Tony Robbins and long before Dr. John Maxwell and Les Brown and all those people who have mentored me and coached me, Dr. Maya Angelou before she passed, and Dr. Stephen Covey, long before those people, there was a Miss Diane Williams in the sixth grade who saw it and taught me how to step into and sit under mentorship and learn and receive. And then she taught me the greatest gift you can give me is not an apple. Execute on what I teach you.
Right, I like that.
Yeah, because I brought an apple one day. I was like, "Hey, I was told I was supposed to bring." She said, "This is cool, great, appreciate it. I don't even really like apples," but she said, "Execute on what I've taught you,
right,
and make me proud."
Right,
and I did that.
So we have this book, Shift into Higher Gear. Post-pandemic, life has taken on a different meaning for a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
This book emerged.
Yes, sir.
What did you want to present during this post-pandemic? I call it post-lockdown of healthy people time.
I love it.
That was the first time in history.
Yes.
That they actually locked down healthy people.
Normally
they would take people who were sick
and put them in quarantine.
But this time they quarantine everybody.
That's right.
That's right. It was difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
To not be able to navigate and move.
Yeah.
And So, what emerged here? What concept did you want people to embrace?
So I've been riding. I've been a motorcycle rider for about the last 17 years. Knock on wood, no accidents ever.
Right.
And God began to start downloading messages, metaphors, and analogies about life and business and how they parallel motorcycle riding.
Okay.
So I started a conference back in 2013 called the Full Throttle Experience. And it's an experiential conference for high achievers because I got my master's degree. I went to Florida State University. Funny story, Doc. After my 6th grade teacher, Ms. Diane Williams, that 1 year that she mentored me and taught me, academically, I didn't have any more academic trouble. I finished high school, went to Florida State, got a bachelor's and master's, 2 degrees in 5 years with a 4.0, no debt. Came out and worked in corporate America.
No debt, that's important.
Yeah, right? But I came out and worked in corporate America because I thought that was the plan. I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
Right.
Worked there for 1 year, got laid off, went from 50 grand a year to nothing in a day. And I said, man, what the heck am I going to do with my life? And at that point, Les Brown and Dr. Willie Jolly.
Willie. A good friend of mine.
Yes, absolutely. Were in my life.
And so is Les.
Yeah, absolutely. And to this day, I mean, so Les mentored Dr. Willie. Dr. Willie mentored me. That's the lineage. In fact, last year at the NSA event, Les came and it was just like it was a trifecta. It was such a beautiful thing.
Dr. Willie sent me something from one of those events.
Yeah.
He received an award.
Yeah. The same. So last year when I got the Hall of Fame, he got the Cavett Award.
Yeah, he said that.
Yes.
Send me a picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're literally like this. He calls me a spiritual son. Every time I go to DC, I stay with he and Mama D. So
beautiful.
That's family right there. So anyway, but I share that to say, I started the conference because God started downloading all these concepts to me about how life and business parallel aspects of motorcycle riding. So I did the conference for multiple years. And then as soon as the pandemic hit, everything shut down.
Right.
And so the publisher approached me. They said, hey, you've written 7 books. We'd like to publish you. And I pitched them 3 concepts. And one of them was this concept called How Life and Business Should Be Lived Full Throttle.
Right.
But they didn't like the Full Throttle title. So we came up with something different. We called it Shift into a Higher Gear.
But I like that title.
And what's amazing, Doc, is that the purpose of the book is to teach people how to ride motorcycles.
Right.
The motorcycle is a metaphor.
Right.
The book is designed to teach people how to shift.
Right.
Because the truth is, anything that we want in our lives, if we want to grow, if we want to expand, we want to take it to the next level, it's going to require a shift. Now, a shift is defined as something that allows us to move or cause to move from one place to another over a small distance. So I've learned over the years that it's the small things that really make the big difference.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Big trucks roll on small tires.
Right.
Big doors swing on little hinges.
Right.
$1 billion corporations merge with 8 people in a small boardroom.
Right.
So I've learned that it's the small things that really do make the big difference. So I wanted to create a book that was doable. Because as you know, most personal development books, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of promise, and it's hard you might get there, but you don't stay there. So I wanted to create something that would allow people to make small shifts that would make a big difference in their life, their business, their career, their family, their finances.
Right, and so you're using, obviously, the motorcycle.
The metaphor, of shifting.
Metaphor.
Yes, sir.
So break that down a little bit more.
So life and business is just like motorcycle riding. Cars are cool, motorcycles are way cooler.
Right.
Because
I used to actually ride a motorcycle.
Oh, come on.
Years
now.
ago.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this story later. But
I can't wait, man. So the motorcycle of our life and business is taking 100% of its direction from our intention. I'm going to say that slower. The motorcycle of our life and business is taking 100% of its direction from our intention. And a motorcycle knows our intention based upon where we put our weight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
It's constantly sensing. In a car, if you want to change directions, you just turn the steering wheel left and right. Motorcycle, you ain't got to do none of that.
Right.
All you got to do is lean.
Right.
And as soon as you lean, life goes in the direction that you lean in. So the purpose is to help people lean into the shifts that will help them go to the next level.
This is fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Let me jump to one other thing for a moment.
Please.
Because chapter 7 is dedicated to your mother.
Ah.
You have a whole chapter to mom. I know you just talked about her.
Man.
You just talked about her in terms of having this beautiful parent. But you did a whole chapter on your mom.
Yeah, man. So my mom taught me, Dr. Beckwith, my mom taught me one of the greatest lessons. And she didn't call it a lesson. But she taught me one of the greatest lessons. And you actually just taught this on Instagram today.
Really?
So I believe that the engine of the motorcycle of our lives is the quality of our emotions.
Yes.
And I believe that it is the quality of our emotional states that determine the happiness that we experience on a daily basis. I believe most of us don't even want things. We want the emotion that the thing gives us.
Speaking my language, man. No, it's so true.
Yeah. So my mom taught me about gratitude because every time you asked Olivia how she was doing, her number one answer, no matter if she was in a hospital, getting dialysis treatments, at church singing in the choir, or walking the dog down this neighborhood street, you asked Olivia how she was doing. Her number one answer with mathematical exactitude was, "Oh, child, I am truly blessed." Every day, all the time.
Right.
So I heard that 100 times a day.
Right,
so my mom was training my emotional state, my emotional home, chapter 7, to be that of gratitude.
Right.
And the truth is, chills all over my body. Every one of us, if you really get down to the core of it, every single one of us are the sum total of the core emotions we experience every day.
Right.
And I tell people all this. I say, listen, what are the top 5 emotions that you experience on a daily basis? I have people write those down. And I say, okay, cool. Now, are those emotions adding to your life? Or are they subtracting from your life?
Right, right.
And our emotions, just like a GPS system, will always find our way back home. I've got my home address saved in my phone. So no matter where I am, if I hit home, it's going to bring me there.
Right, right.
You know, Dr. Beckwith, there's so many people who, no matter how bad life is, no matter how bad of a day they had, they can find their way back to joy.
Absolutely.
And you also know people who, no matter how amazing their day was, they can find their way back to pissed off.
Right, because they have a problem for every solution.
Right. And their emotional home is that of, stress, anxiety, worry, fear, et cetera, et cetera.
That's their baseline.
That's their base. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I created in chapter 7 was I said, listen, my mom taught me, without even knowing she was teaching me this, that my emotional home base was that of gratitude. So every single day, I start my day with gratitude, and I focus on gratitude throughout the day, because gratitude is actually an emotional trump card. Yeah. It's really difficult.
No, it's it, man.
Yeah, you can't be envious and grateful at
the same, two different frequencies.
Come on, talk to us, Doc.
I tell people, listen, a lot of people, it doesn't sound like your parents did this, but some parents say to their kids, if you don't stop crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
Yes, sir.
Okay? But the universe is saying, if you don't stop being grateful, I'm gonna give you something to be grateful for. You know? So if you can stay in that attitude, then beyond your imagination,
come on,
possibilities open up, opportunities show up, because they're vibrating at the level of gratitude.
Come on.
So your emotions are the condensation of previously held thoughts and beliefs.
Yes, sir.
So your mother, planted that into your awareness by saying that every day, honey, I'm blessed.
I'm blessed. Oh, child, I'm blessed.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
So that then became a part of your emotional body.
Yes, sir.
You see,
yes,
so
sir.
you're living in it.
Come
Every
on.
time I see you, smiling and laughing, I am too. They call me silly.
Yes.
Because I'm just, I don't take anything seriously.
See, now you bothered me, right? Watch. Here's why. Because in the end of chapter 7, one of the things that I teach is, at the end of the day, we have to understand this, Doc. Most of us treat gratitude and other positive emotions, joy, love, happiness, like it lives somewhere else. Right. Like it's outside of us.
Right.
But one of the things that actually Tony Robbins taught me this was to become the emotion that you want to experience.
That's it.
So for me, rather than trying to feel grateful like it's in some other city I have to fly to or drive to, I am gratitude.
Absolutely.
And we have to be so careful of the word that comes after I am.
Speak about it.
Because whatever, that's the identity.
Right.
And we cannot let our calamity, our adversity, our challenge become our identity.
Absolutely. But people fall into that so easily.
Yes, sir, they do.
And people have normalized anxiety, anxiousness, worst case scenarios, fear.
Yes.
And what we're seeking to do is to normalize joy.
That's right.
Normalize peace.
Yes. Ecstasy, fulfillment,
Why
contentment.
not? People are afraid to get there because they're afraid they're going to lose it. You know what else? What people will do? They'll delay it by saying, I'll be in joy when.
Yes.
And they'll place it on a condition.
Do you see?
In a circumstance. You can have it right now.
Come on.
And the circumstance will bend towards it.
Yes. See, Deepak said this to me one day and it bothered me. It was a meditation. And I know you teach to do unguided meditation. I do. And I'm
both.
learning that. Yeah. But this was a guided meditation that I was listening to that Deepak Chopra shared. And he said, the past is the thief.
Yep, right.
And so is the future.
Right.
He said, because the past, if we're constantly focusing on yesterday, yesterweek, yestermonth, yesteryear, or we're constantly focusing on what we want to achieve tomorrow, we don't get a chance to be present in today.
Absolutely. That's it. That's the metaphor of the crucifixion. Because Yeshua ben Joseph had two thieves.
Come on.
One asked him, what did you do to get here?
Right.
Past.
Yes.
The other one asked him, where are we going after
this?
Where are we
going? Right. Where you taking a brother?
He said, now.
Yes.
You shall
now.
be with me in paradise.
Yes. He didn't say later. He said it right now.
It's
So
all,
good,
it's all
man.
metaphorical.
Come on.
You know?
So powerful.
So tell us about the kickstand. Because you talk about the fact, because we're going back to the analogy here of the hierarchy. I just wanted to shift into your mother for a moment. And then what else I wanted to shift into? I'm going to ask about the kickstand, but when you were speaking about, hugging your teachers.
Yeah.
I've often said over the years, we have all these monuments to generals. We need to have monuments to educators and peacemakers.
So profoundly powerful.
That would shift the consciousness.
It would. Of the whole planet.
All the warriors. I understand.
Yeah.
Protection, safety, defense, and all that.
Yeah.
But what about the peacemakers?
Yes, sir.
What about the educators?
Yes, sir.
We need statues to them.
I totally agree.
That was just an aside that
and
came
that's
up.
huge, and that's so powerful, and we need to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It needs to
now,
start with us.
You can't ride your motorcycle with your kickstand on. I know it's a metaphor for some teachings in
Jesus
there.
have mercy. So one of the things that
I love you, man. I love you. Jesus have mercy.
It's so powerful. So one of the things that I believe wholeheartedly is that one of the biggest, everything on a motorcycle is teaching us lessons about life and business.
Yeah.
And so the kickstand represents our excuses. And just like how you've never, ever, ever, never have seen, and you never will see a motorcycle going down the interstate or the street or the road or the highway with the kickstand down.
Right.
You won't see that. Here's why. Inside of every motorcycle is a kill switch mechanism. Mm-hmm. See, the purpose of the kickstand is to prop up or support the bike when the bike is not in use.
Right.
I'm going to say that again slower.
Right.
The purpose of the kickstand is to support the bike when the bike is not in use. So if excuses, which is what we talk about in the book, are your kickstand, then the purpose of your excuse is to prop up your life and make your life look good.
Right.
When your life is not even in use, my friend.
Right.
Woo!
Right.
So if we think about it like this, every time I use an excuse, I'm stalling the engine of the motorcycle of my life and my career. Every time. And you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't do both.
Right.
You can make excuses or have a great relationship. Can't do both.
Right.
So we got to get really crystal clear. And my gym teacher back in high school said this. He said, excuses are just like dirty gym socks. Everybody has them and they all stink.
Right. Another good teacher.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? So we dedicate that whole chapter to learning how to get rid of the excuses. And Brian Tracy, a dear friend of ours, taught me this lesson about excuses. He said, an excuse, write this down if you're taking notes, is an elaborate justification.
Yes.
For why we don't take action on things that we want and desire.
Absolutely.
And I love the word elaborate justification.
Right. Because you know what? Oftentimes that's where people misuse their creativity.
Come on.
They'll use all their creative energy to justify why they're not taking action on something. and instead of using all that creativity
to do the thing.
Just do the thing. Do the thing.
Do the thing. That's what we're trying to help you do. Do the thing.
And another thing about it is you don't have to do the thing all in one day.
Come on.
You can take baby steps.
See.
Just walk in the direction of your conversation.
Come on.
Of your prayer.
Yes.
Just walk. And then a momentum takes over from inertia.
Yes, sir.
And next thing you know, you're carried.
Come on.
By the vision.
Come on.
Because you've taken some baby steps.
That's it. And I believe that and I teach that, Doc. I think it's so vitally important that people understand what stalls most people is task complexity. People get overwhelmed by how big the project is, cleaning out the garage or writing the book, or starting the podcast. We could all go on, right? Starting the business, changing your relationship, shifting your physical body. Take it baby steps. Olympic athletes who are the best in the world, who train for literally decades for moments of glory.
Couple of moments.
Yeah. These
Sometimes just 8 seconds.
Yeah. Right. But they don't train to get better annually. They don't train to get better quarterly, monthly, or weekly. The best of the best on planet Earth train to get better daily. So the secret to our success or failure is hidden in what we do every single day. And that's why we teach and shift into a higher gear. I want you to get 1% better, just 1% better each and every day.
Yeah.
And if we can learn how to do that, we can get rid of the excuses and replace excuses with what we teach in the book, which is a psychological phenomenon called cognitive reframing. Because one of the biggest excuses that most people make is, oh, I'm too old.
Right.
Or I don't have enough resources.
Right.
Or I don't know enough of the right people. I don't have this. So I ask you, I invite you in the chapter to make a list of all the things you tend to come up with as an excuse and then replace the excuse with what's called a positive affirmation or a declaration or a cognitive reframe that goes in the other direction. So when someone says to me, "Oh, I'm too old," I say, "Listen, your past experience has prepared you perfectly for this new opportunity."
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in our society right now, many corporations are looking for older people because they have dedication and commitment.
That's it.
And experience.
That's right.
And they've lived so much life.
That's right.
That they're bringing a lot to the table.
They bring a whole lot to the table.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You can't be too old, too young, too anything.
No, sir.
Because the universal presence by law will match.
Yes.
I used the word earlier. Will match your intention.
Yes, sir. All day and twice on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So the universe will match our intention.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the moment that we can get rid of the excuses and focus on the positive declarations and get up every day and say, "Listen, my past experience has prepared me perfectly for this opportunity." When we can say, instead of I don't know the right people, when we begin to say things like, "I'm so excited about the new people I'm going to meet today that are going to help me with my journey tomorrow."
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. As soon as we begin to start to speak those things that be not as though they were and decree a thing, it shall be established.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I wake up, this is before I get out of bed.
Yes, sir.
If I know a little bit about my schedule, I'll say, let me have the feeling of how wonderful this interview and conversation is going to go with Dr. D. Let me have the feeling of all the things I have to accomplish today, the feeling of success around it. I wake up already successful.
Come on
the feeling level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then I get up.
Then you get up and
become grateful.
Yes, sir.
Surrender to life and ask for the power to handle all my assignments. That's just the first 5 minutes of my waking.
Come on.
So
you're already there.
I'm already programming the whole day. I've already met with you this morning.
We already did it. How did it go?
It's going good. We're laughing and joking, but you're dropping some nuggets.
Yes, sir. Transformational nuggets. Yes,
that people can actually shift their life.
Yes, sir.
Now, as I was asking you earlier, to a degree, you said that a motorcycle or a car which one has the 3 gears that the other one doesn't have?
So cars are cool, motorcycles are cooler. So cars come with 4 gears: park, drive, reverse, and neutral. Right. Most motorcycles, primarily, once you put them in gear, have one gear: drive.
Right.
Motorcycles were
you can't go in reverse.
Motorcycles were built for you to go forward. A motorcycle only knows next.
Right.
A motorcycle only knows tomorrow. Next. Opportunity, growth, development, build. Yes. A motorcycle was not built to go in any other direction than forward. So your life, your business, your career, your relationship, everything about you is meant to go forward.
Absolutely.
Now, when those other gears, and it's a metaphor. So can motorcycles have a reverse option? Sure. Even mine does. I have a Honda Goldwing 1800cc. The thing's a beast. It's almost 1,000 pounds.
Right.
So it has a reverse button that allows you to kind of hit it and it slowly backs it out. It's for parking purposes.
Right.
But it's not meant for day-to-day use. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
However, most people, Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, live their lives in the automobile of life, not the motorcycle of life. Why? Because most people are stuck in park, they're stuck in reverse, and they're stuck in neutral.
Right.
So let's talk about each one of those for a quick second.
Please do.
Here's how you know if you're in park.
Right.
You know you're in park in life and business when you literally are stuck. You feel like you've kind of paused, but you let your personality and all that kind of stuff and your social media presence kind of take over so people think you're doing something, but you're really stuck.
Come on now.
Come on, somebody. You're stuck. You're parked. Nobody wants to be behind a parked car. You know you're parked when you have stalled going after what you want. You know you're in park when you've stopped pursuing the things that inspire you, that give you life and joy.
Right.
You know you're in reverse when your dominant conversation is about what happened yesterday.
It happened in the past.
Whatever happened in the past, the unchangeable past, no matter what it was.
Right.
If your dominant conversation, I can listen to you for 2 minutes and determine what gear you're in life and business. Because if you're constantly talking about who hurt you, who left you, who damaged you, who challenged you, you're stuck in reverse.
Right. That's good.
And while driving in reverse is cool in movies, it doesn't work in life and business.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So park is not effective. It's less effective. Neutral and reverse is not effective, and neutral is worse. You know someone is in neutral, Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, when their dominant conversation sounds like this: I don't know, I don't care, others don't care, it doesn't matter. It's a very nonchalant.
Listen, I don't care, others don't care. That's
You're in neutral.
That's almost not even neutral. It's almost reverse.
Yeah, you've kind of given up.
Yeah, right.
You're like, well, it doesn't matter. You're nonchalant about life and business.
Right.
You're stuck in neutral. And here's the challenge with neutral. When you're in neutral, the engine is not connected to the transmission when the vehicle's in neutral. So
this
you're
is
not
a
even,
motorcycle.
Yeah,
the engine's not even connected.
No, so you're not. So whatever's coming from the engine can't even get to the wheels to propel you forward.
Right.
And the other damaging thing about neutral is, imagine if any car on a hill here in California shifts over into neutral.
Right.
You are literally subject to whatever the environment wants to do to you.
Absolutely.
So neutral is not effective. Park is not effective. Reverse is not effective. We want to stay in drive. How do you know you're in drive? You're in drive when you wake up in the morning and you're excited about your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. You're in drive when you know you have a definite purpose in your life and you're pursuing it. You're in drive when you're confronting your comfort zone and living on the other side of your comfort zone, because everything that you want in life and business and career and spirituality and faith and family is on the other side of what's comfortable.
Right.
You know you're in drive when you get up every day. You say, man, I'm going to challenge that belief system. I'm going to learn something new and different. You know you're in drive when you wake up and you say, listen, I'm going to imagine my day going this way, and I command my day to align with what I just imagined.
Right.
That's how you know you're living in drive.
This is powerful.
And that doesn't mean, Doc, that everything's perfect.
No. And you don't have to be perfect to go for your dream.
Not at all.
Matter of fact, you will become perfected as you
go along. Come on now.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to love saying back in the day, God doesn't call the qualified. Say it. Finish
He
it.
qualifies the call.
Say it. Come on now. You get perfected as you're going
as
forward.
You go, man.
Right.
And that's why this is so profound. That's why I think it's so important for people like ourselves who God and life has allowed us to, and we have stepped into what it is that we've called to do.
Right.
I think it's so important for us to share our messages and share our story,
Absolutely.
Share our challenges, share our hardships,
Absolutely.
Share what didn't work, because people think, oh, you were just born on third base.
No.
Nah, Cletus. It took a minute to get to this place, man. No. He was like, oh, you're an overnight success.
They don't see behind. They don't see.
They see me on the Today Show now, like, oh man, you're just lucky. Man, are you kidding me? Bruh, I've been at this I'm 47 at the time of this recording. I've been a full-time speaker 21 years, man.
Right.
21 years.
You know what I define luck is living under cosmic knowledge. You have to do the inner work.
Come on.
Get in tune with the laws of the universe.
You got to take the inner shower.
You got to. Okay, you've been listening. You got to.
No, you hurt me worse with that one. You said that one in a live audience, and I was so done. I had to get up and go to the lobby for 30 seconds. Inner shop, bro. I have said that 1,000 times since you first taught it to me.
Right.
I always give you credit for it, but most people don't think about it.
No,
like
they
that,
take an external shower, but they're not cleaning up the inside, the interior awareness, and they got all the gears are all in reverse or neutral.
Come on, man.
Or stalled. Come on
there
now.
You go. That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
But since you brought up the Today Show,
yes,
one of the things that you covered there, I think is very important, is burnout. Because listen,
man,
even though we are going forward, it's not about ambition.
No, sir.
It's an unfolding of a dream and a vision within us. But people do get burnt out.
Yes, sir.
If they're, talk to about that and some of the ways that we navigate through burnout.
So chapter 10, we talk about this powerful concept of you want to make sure that you avoid the potholes. Mm-hmm. So you have to learn how to maneuver on a motorcycle, because on an automobile, you go over a pothole, boom, you're good.
Right.
On a motorcycle, you go over a pothole, you're done.
Right.
I mean, you're going over the handlebars. It's just bad.
Right.
So one of the potholes that we're going to encounter along our journey of life and business, spirituality, faith, family, finances, is the pothole of burnout. And the World Health Organization, Dr. Beckwith, has literally gone on record. They've entered burnout into its 11th revision of the International Classification of Diseases. So burnout is now considered globally a disease. Well, Dr. Delatorro, okay, how do I know I'm burned out? Great question. I define burnout as the candle that's out of wax. Okay. Have you ever had one of them candles in your house that's out of wax? No matter how much you try to do to that wick, it won't light. It's gone, right? That's burnout. Mm-hmm. And most people don't. And here's how you know you're burned out. If you wake up each day and you kind of have this lackluster approach towards life, you could be burnt out. If regular accomplishments and achievements don't feel like you thought they were going to feel once you got it, there's a good chance you're burned out. If you sleep but you don't get rest, there's a good chance that you're burned out. And one of my good friends, Dr. Talk to Spirit, she said it's hard to feel rested when it's your soul that's tired.
Yes. That's powerful.
One of the most powerful therapists out there. She's amazing. And I love that. So we know we're burned out when you can get all the sleep you want, but you don't feel like you got rest. You might be burnt out. You achieve all this great stuff, and then once you achieve it, you feel lackluster. You feel like you're in neutral about a major accomplishment that took you months and years to get. You're like, oh, that's just nothing. You could be burnt out. If you're constantly looking at things that are happening for other people instead of being celebratory for their success and achievement,
that's a big one.
You're kind of skeptical about their success and achievement, you're burnt out. You're exhausted. And when that happens, the first thing that you need to do is you got to get a sabbatical. You got to get away and you got to recharge. No matter what devices we have in here, everything that I'm looking at, the iPad, the phones, everything, the microphones, all this has to be plugged into a source greater than itself for it to function at optimum capacity.
Absolutely.
We got to do the same thing.
Right.
So burnout is real. It's actually a disease. And y'all, we have to take immediate action. I don't care how wealthy you are. When your phone is done and you ain't got nowhere to charge it,
it's done.
It's done.
That electric car is through.
The electric car is over, right? So at the end of the day, we need to charge and we got to plug into something greater than us so that we can be at capacity and do what we got to do. So I've been talking about this conversation of burnout and helping people understand, identify, are you there?
Yeah.
And prolonged overwhelm is also leads to burnout. So when we get
Define
to burnout,
prolonged overwhelm.
So overwhelm is different than burnout. So burnout is I'm done, I'm toast. Overwhelm is the rubber band that's around too many documents, right? Overwhelm is I just got home from the grocery store. I'm gonna try to carry 8 things into this house at one time instead of taking
one at a time.
instead of taking 2 or 3 at a time. That's so most of us live life constantly overwhelmed. Overwhelm also looks like I got 23 apps open on my phone. I got 17 screens on my laptop, and I'm trying to do a little bit of everything.
What about folks?
Come on now, right?
Folks that have all these televisions in their house. They want to watch all these things at one time.
Right.
It's like a big deal.
That's overwhelmed. My daughter,
4 football games at one time.
How are you doing?
Why do you want to do that? You can check in on stuff, but what are you doing?
Going all at the same time. That's overwhelm. That's overstimulation, right? So we got to understand when we're in overwhelm versus when we're in burnout. And prolonged overwhelm leads to burnout. And when we get to burnout, first thing you got to do is you got to get a sabbatical. So step 1 is you got to take an immediate, urgent vacation. So one of the things that I love to do when I go on sabbatical, I love to go to places like Sedona, right? We love Sedona, right? Places like that, Costa Rica, right?
I go to Costa Rica,
exactly, right? Yes,
all that place.
So you got to get away. And when you get away, one of the first questions I want you to ask yourself is, am I doing work that inspires me? And the reason why that's so important is because most of us have cashed in personal fulfillment for professional gain for the sake of a job, for the sake of a just over broke, right? Most of us work jobs whose expenses have already outrisen our income. So most people have more month at the end of their money, and you're not doing what you enjoy. So you, and I wrote this in this whole separate book called Caught Between a Dream and a Job. You don't have to do that. You can do what you love and actually be compensated well for it. Because if you're doing this for 8 to 10 to 12, by the time you add commute, 12 hours a day is going into what you do for a livelihood. That's probably one of the biggest places of burnout is what you do for a livelihood. So take a sabbatical and really ask yourself the hard question. Is what I'm doing really giving me energy, giving me joy? See, speaking gives me energy. It gives me joy. Interviews, writing books, right? All the things that I do to teach and to impact lives, that gives me vitality. It doesn't take it from me. It adds to my life. But most people, as you know, are not in that place. So we have to shift out of cashing in personal fulfillment for professional gain and figure out, how do I do what I love to do for a living so that when the paycheck comes, it's like, oh, wow, that's cool.
No, I understand it.
You know what I mean?
I understand it. Yeah. You're telling people that rest is a beautiful 4-letter word.
Come on.
That they can back up. And then you also, another way you talked about it was self-reflection.
Yes, sir.
Just look in.
Yes.
Am I fulfilled?
Is this doing it for me?
Is this doing it for me? Am I supposed to still be doing this?
Right. Maybe I was doing it and I did it great for that season.
Yeah.
But maybe it's time for something new. It's time for a shift. It's time to do something a different way. Because no matter, people teach us all the time, say, oh, well, as long as you're persistent, you'll be successful. That's a lie. Mm-hmm. If you persistently, I'm persistent and I'm going to run east.
Right. When I want to go west.
right. Come on. Looking for the sunset, right? Right. I'm never going to get there.
Right.
So persistence alone is not the ticket, my friend. You got to connect with your passion. Let me slow that word down. Dr. Miles Monroe taught me this. Passion. Connect with your passion. Your pass I on. Mm-hmm. Your passion is how you pass yourself on to humanity. Mm-hmm. Because the truth is, people are going to sum up our lives, Doc, with one word. And whatever that one word is, was more than likely our primary passion. If I say Henry Ford to you, the first thing you say to me is the automobile.
Right.
If I say Denzel Washington to you, most people say acting.
Right.
Most women say fine. If we say Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, everyone screams agape. Mm-hmm. Because why? Because at the end of the day, enlightenment, unfoldment, spirituality, right? I can sum up your life in one primary word based upon your magnificent obsession.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this work has been your magnificent obsession. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
So it doesn't matter who you ask, no matter what you say, right? If you say Mel Gibson, they're going to say directing, right? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, we all have one primary thing. If you say Elon Musk, most people say Tesla, right? Mm-hmm. Even though he does a lot of stuff, there's that one magnificent Steve Jobs. We could do this all day. Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. I don't care who you name.
Right.
You could sum up their lives with their magnificent obsession.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that we need to be spending our time mastering. So that way we can go out there and do what we love and get paid for it. So that the work that we do every day blesses and heals humanity and gives us compensation at the same time. And that will eradicate your burnout by 90% just with that right there.
Right. You use the word mastery. And many people don't even move through life with the desire to be masters. They're seeking, they've gotten hijacked by the spirit of mediocrity.
Yes, sir.
And they're trying to get something before they become something. So mastery is important.
It's huge.
You know, whatever you're called to do.
Yes, sir.
Be your best.
Be excellent.
Don't say, I don't really like.
Come on now.
If it's not yours to do, don't do it.
Yes.
But if it is, bring mastery to it.
Yes. Yeah. I talk about, in chapter 4, we talk about how you have to be willing to lean into the things that you want, right? Mm-hmm. Because the truth is, not only do we have to put our weight into the things we want, but we also have to be willing to put our weight. So WEIGHT.
Right.
Put your weight into it. But also, certain things in life take time, so you got to be willing to wait.
It's gestation.
That part.
You put the seed in the ground, it doesn't just pop up.
Come on. Right?
The farmer has to wait.
Yes.
Until there's gestation and inner transformation taking place.
Yes, sir.
And then finally, there's the roots and the shoots.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to grow, Doc, roots first.
Right.
And most of us aren't willing to do that.
Right.
We want everything that we do
we want the fruits
to be
without the roots.
Without the roots. Come on, somebody.
You can't get the fruits without the roots.
Man, we got to go down first.
Right.
Anytime you want to go higher in a trampoline, you got to go deeper in it.
Right.
Anytime the building is going to go really high, they dig really, really low.
Foundation
if you want an arrow to go forward, you got to pull it back. Yeah. Most of the things in life are counterintuitive.
Right.
It's not what we think.
Right.
It's actually the exact opposite of what we think,
Absolutely.
as you know and you teach, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to this concept of mastery, which I love to call excellence.
Yes, I love the word excellence.
Man, most corporations, I speak to Fortune 50 corporations all over the world. Mm-hmm. Most corporations have as a core value of theirs excellence.
Yes.
But most of us haven't taken the time to really deconstruct what excellence really is. Mm-hmm. And I believe you. So when I got into this industry, I said, I want to study those people who were excellent at this thing called speaking, oratory, communication, excellence. I wanted to study that. So I broke that down. And in chapter 4, we talk about it. First thing we got to do if we really want to be excellent, Doc, is we have to, and I want to know if you agree with these concepts.
Sure,
Number one, do you have a desire for excellence? Mm-hmm. First thing you got to do, my friend, you got to desire excellence. I want to be the best at what it is that I do. Number two, once you commit that I want to be, you got to find a great example.
Right.
Of what excellence looks like for your industry, for your passion, for your profession. Once you find that good example, you got to go to step number 3. Surround yourself with that person or that individual. As you get close to that excellence, I want you to do step 4. Begin to study the details of excellence. Because when you pull back the layers and you study the details, you'll understand. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. For example, one restaurant offers you the nice hot towel right before you eat, and the other one doesn't.
Right.
It's a hot washcloth.
Right.
It ain't a lot.
Right.
But that one little
It'll bring you back.
Well, I can't wait to go back there because that one little touch of excellence.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you want to study the details of excellence, and then you want to incorporate, step number 5, incorporate that excellence into your own life.
Right.
At your level. Write this down, y'all. You got to be excellent at your level. Here's what that means. I believe so many of us stall our excellence and our greatness and the success that we desire because we're constantly comparing ourselves to people who started 10, 15, 20, 30 years before you did. Of course they're going to be better than you. Of course they're going to be more popular than you, or whatever the thing is that you're kind of comparing yourself against them. But if you can step away from that and say, you know what? I got $500. I want the best website that $500 can get me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be excellent with that website until that $500 website makes me $50,000. Then once that $500 website has made me $50,000, then I can invest $1,000 into a better website.
Right.
But at least I'm being excellent at my level.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
So that's it.
Yeah.
That goes back to almost the baby steps again.
Yes, sirree. Yes,
and
sirree.
appreciating what you have.
And
you appreciate it so much that you use what you
have.
You know, you're not complaining about it.
No.
You're actually using it.
Yes, sirree.
Listen, I started Agape with $17.
17.
We had been visioning for months, and we were taking offerings from my small group.
Yeah.
We spent all of our money on renting a building, then getting all these invitations, all these things you have to do.
Yes, sir.
Right when we were about to mail the invitations, we got a notice saying that we couldn't have the building anymore because a high political figure wanted it for himself and moved us out the way. We hadn't mailed the invitations yet. I said, well, we have to pivot on this. I said, how much money do we have in the kitty? They said, $17. I started laughing. I blessed that $17.
Yes, sir. Come on.
Collected some more money and then pivoted and went on.
Yes,
but
sir.
I remember that moment.
Yes, sir.
I didn't curse the 17.
You said this 17 is going to get me.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Added some more to it, and we did what we did. But yeah, start with where you
Be
are.
excellent at your level.
Be excellent at your level.
My friend, that is so huge for you. If you can catch what we're saying, it will transform your life. Be excellent at your level. If that means 30,000, then great. Be excellent at 30,000 until you get to 300,000. Because if you're a good steward over that 30,000, you'll get to the 300,000, and then the lessons you learn at 300,000 will help you get to 3 million. But one of my good buddies and dear friends, you and I both know him, Mark Victor Hansen, taught me this. He said, make big mistakes on small money. He said, learn big lessons on small money.
Yes.
I'd rather learn that you're a hypocrite.
With a small amount of money.
On a small contract of $50 versus $5 million. Learn big lessons on small money. That's a profound lesson, right? Yeah. And again, be excellent at your level. Last tip, it's in the book. Tweak excellence. I believe that the best constantly get better because we're constantly evaluating. We're constantly tweaking. We're constantly honing. We're constantly, how do we make that a little bit better? Every time I do an event, every time I do, I train and coach speakers. So I have a program called Crush the Stage. Every time I teach Crush the Stage, it comes out differently. I teach it differently. Every time I speak, I'm getting better because I go back and look at, I hear people say, oh, I hate the sound of my voice. And I hate to look at myself. I'm like, how's that going for you? Yeah. If you hate the sound of your voice and you hate how you look,
haven't heard of him.
You probably exactly. Like, most of the people that tell me that are not known figures, right? Because they're so busy downing themselves, that they can't get over themselves, so they can get into their greatness.
Yeah, oftentimes, I won't say often, but many times, if I'm going through something myself, I listen to myself.
Yeah. What would I do? What was I doing right before I got?
I put on and I hear that frequency.
Yes.
That frequency starts to vibrate in my body, my emotion. I'm flying.
I'm about to run out this room. I can't even take it.
I'm flying.
It's so true, man. And it amazes me how many of my colleagues don't listen to their own stuff. I'm like, that's how you know it's good. If your own stuff doesn't impact you,
what you doing?
if your content doesn't move you, it's not going to move the audience. So only teach content that gives you goosebumps. That gives you chills. That's how you know that's high vibrational, and what comes from the heart reaches the heart. Yeah.
You've been going viral. No, healing with integrity.
Man,
break that down for us a minute while we have a little time here.
So
healing with integrity.
Doc,
what does that mean?
So went through a breakup about 2 years ago. Dating a young lady, we got engaged, and one of the things, we went to the beach and we were having a conversation. I said, hey, before we start sending out invitations about a wedding or whatever, let's make sure that everything is good emotionally. Let's start going to therapy. She immediately had some negative reactions to that, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, she's like, if you want me to go to therapy, because I've been in therapy for 10 years. I believe that every person that does the work that we do needs to have a mental health professional close by because of the intensity of what we do, right? So I asked her, I said, hey, are you willing to, and she didn't want to do it. So we ended up calling off the relationship because I knew that there were areas in her life that needed healing. But
she didn't want to look at them.
She didn't want to look at them. So I was like, okay, cool. So anyway, a friend of mine, his name's Delatorro Whitfield. He has an incredible podcast called Dear Future Wifey. And he had gone through a recent breakup as well. He and I met in Atlanta. Dr. Jamal Bryant introduced us to each other and we connected, et cetera, et cetera. And we was like, man, there's not really a lot of people out there teaching on how to heal with integrity after a breakup. And so I went to my therapist and I said, what percentage of people heal well between relationships? She said 95% of people do not heal between relationships.
They just jump into another
relationship. So, and we've all heard the old adage, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else.
That doesn't work though.
That doesn't work though, right? But that's what most people do. So we're recycling all this trauma because we're not healing.
Right.
So after that breakup and I was invited on his podcast and I started sharing some of my thoughts and perspectives about healing. Now, I'm not a dating coach. I can't tell you the best pickup lines to use at a bar or at the gym. I'm not a dating coach. I'm none of that. But I've learned some lessons about healing.
Right.
And healing with integrity, meaning for me, healing with integrity means when you go through something challenging or difficult or hard, first thing you need to do is write this down, family, let the hurt. Because we live in a world and a society, Doc, that says, oh, if you're going through just be strong. Just push through it. Just
take this and it'll make you feel better.
That part, right. So numb the pain.
Numb it.
Right. Numb it or self-medicate or whatever versus actually going through the healing process. And you and I both know this, emotions will continue to recycle until we address them.
Right.
Right. You'll repeat the 10th grade in that emotion until you learn to master it.
Absolutely.
So let the hurt. That's number one. Number two, call your posse. Healing with integrity means calling your posse. Who are the people that love, value, and respect you? Even if you got to get them on Zoom. When I went through that breakup, I called 8 of my closest friends and cried on Zoom. Cried on Zoom. Because I was like, man, this is great. It's going to be, whatever. And I was embarrassed. You invite people to a destination situation and then next thing you know, because of therapy? I mean, it wasn't an affair. It wasn't cheating. It wasn't.
She didn't go to your bank account and steal your money.
It wasn't that. It wasn't gambling. It was that. We gonna break up over therapy? Yeah. So I was embarrassed. I was hurt. I was devastated, And so I let my friends see me broken. And so I want to encourage you, whether your friends live local or far away, if you're going through something challenging, if you want to heal with integrity, call your posse.
Your real friends.
Your real friends. Yeah. Get them together. Let them love on you. Number 3, next thing you got to do if we want to heal with integrity is go on an actual healing journey. Now, I'm not saying it's got to be eat, pray, love. But
you are funny, man.
But you got to go on some. So get away, right? Journal, meditate, pray. Get a strong mental health professional in your life. Start going to sessions because so many people, they say, oh, well, I'm just going to heal by calling my girlfriends and my guy friends and telling them what happened and all that stuff. Girlfriends and guy friends are great. But if my alternator in my vehicle is jacked up, my best friend can't help me.
Right.
Does that make sense? If you know what I'm saying? If the sensors on my Escalade go out, I can't take that to one of my best friends from college.
Right.
And what happens is we go through things in life and business and spirituality, faith, family, finances, and they are train wrecks to us emotionally. And we don't go get seen. If you get in a car accident, what's the first thing that the cops and the ambulance is going to make you do, even if you don't have any physical injuries?
Right.
They take you straight to the hospital. Why? They want to make sure you don't have any internal bleeding, any internal damage.
Right.
But we go through layoffs, we go through breakups, we go through going from one church, mosque, spiritual campus, etc., to another. We go through all these situations, divorce, diagnoses, death. We go through all these things in life, and we just keep moving.
Right.
We lead while we bleed.
Right.
And we just think it's all right.
Right.
No, man, you are hemorrhaging inside.
Right.
So let's learn how to heal with integrity. So I want every one of you all who's watching, if this is resonating with you, I want you to go visit healingwithintegrity.com, because what sent us viral is these concepts around healing and not dating, not how to pick up somebody,
right.
but how to heal better so you can bring the best version of yourself to your next relationship.
Yes.
So we created a free online course. Just go to healingwithintegrity.com. The course is absolutely free. Healingwithintegrity.com. The course is absolutely free. It's like 8 videos of me teaching powerful concepts that help people to heal better. Right. For example, just to give you one quick example, most people, Dr. Beckwith, as a relationship is coming to an end, we live in a culture that's a cancel culture, a swipe culture.
It's absolutely true.
A ghosting culture.
Yes.
Because we don't know how to have necessary conversations.
Right.
So we just ghost people. The problem with that, for the person that you ghosted, is they never got closure. And here's the other problem.
But you didn't
either.
Right. Nobody got closure.
Nobody got closure. And the brain, the human mind, I study a lot of neuroscience and NLP, the human mind hates open loops. So if there's an open loop, guess what the brain tends to fill it in with? Negative information.
Right.
Think about it. Most times, if you haven't heard from your significant other or somebody you care about, or even your kids, and you're used to them calling you at a certain time, they don't call you for 6, 8, 10 hours, the first thing you think is not, oh, they must be having a great time at a football game or a concert. Yeah. The first thing you think is, what happened?
What's wrong?
What's wrong, right? Because we're trained as a society to fill in gaps of missing information with negative information.
Absolutely.
So we can free ourselves and we can free others by learning how to have the necessary conversation. Another thing that we talk about in Healing with Integrity is helping people understand the power of dialectical thinking, Doc. Most people don't understand this. I only learned about dialectical thinking going through therapy. For those of y'all who don't understand, dialectical thinking means 2 opposing views can coexist at the exact same time. Here's what that means. I forgive you, but I don't trust you anymore.
Right, sure.
Both are allowed to coexist. And we think, because we've been taught this, oh, if you forgave them, you should be willing to
You should go out to dinner again.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to do that. No.
I forgive you. I release you. God bless you. Peace and blessings.
Yes.
But I'm not going to put myself at the mercy of your erratic emotional states anymore.
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And dialectical thinking allows us to let people off the hook and protect ourselves at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. In quantum physics, they say everything can exist at the same time, but they're operating different vibrations.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And this is why, even, I know we're not talking about this right now, even in this world that we're living in,
yes, sir,
there are patterns of love, peace, joy, wisdom, harmony, generosity. At the same time, there's destructive behavior, and
yes,
people
sir.
do it, bombing people, killing people, all existing within the same time frame.
Yes, sir.
And what's happening is that the new emergence is happening. It's changing, but that's a whole other conversation.
But yes, we're in concert. We're in harmony on that, man. But isn't that powerful?
Oh yeah. No, I appreciate that, because I wanted you to speak into that, because it's very important. Because there are people, as you say, that are trying to lead their own life by bleeding.
That's
all
it.
over the people,
all over other folks.
It's and they're not dealing with it.
They're not dealing with it. Nope.
And they think they can medicate themselves out of it, drink themselves out of it, entertain themselves out of it.
Yeah.
It has to be an internal situation.
And I went through that. I mean, so if you're watching, listen, I went through that. I went through a season of my life when I had some childhood traumas that I had to fix.
Right.
Needing to be needed. Right. Imposter syndrome. Right. All these things. I was, codependency. All that. Like I said, my parents divorced when I was 2.
Right.
So there was a lot of feelings when I was growing up that I wasn't good enough.
Right. What did I do wrong? I
must have. Watch this. Another thing that I tended to do in relationships earlier on in my life was I tended to overextend myself because I thought that's what love was.
Right.
You call, you give, you call, you give, you do. I go 80%, they come 20%. And I'm like, oh yeah, they love me. Because that's what I did growing up as a kid.
Right.
And so I began to do that in romantic relationships, and people would take advantage of that.
Right.
So I had to learn how to heal from all of those things.
Right.
So that I could love myself.
Right.
Enough.
Right.
To say, no, I deserve 10 times better than that.
Absolutely. And you could shift
so that I could
into a higher gear.
Come on, somebody.
You can go into a higher gear.
Come on, man.
Full throttle.
Yes, sir. No brakes, no nothing, man. We all in, man.
Listen. Before we go, I know you had a pivotal speaking acknowledgement within this past year.
Yes.
I mean, you reached a kind of another mountaintop. congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Tell people exactly what it was.
So last year, 2023, I was blessed to be inducted into the National Speakers Association Speaker Hall of Fame. Now, the Speaker Hall of Fame was established in 1977 by the National Speakers Association to honor the best and the brightest speakers on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. You cannot earn the Hall of Fame. It literally has to be bestowed upon you by people who are already in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And so if you've ever heard of a Jim Rohn or a Zig Ziglar, right, mm-hmm. or a Connie Podesta or a Patricia Fripp mm-hmm. or a Les Brown, General Norman Schwarzkopf, all these people are in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And so last year I got inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Bless you, man.
Thank you so much. And you sent me a beautiful video congratulating me. We played it at our celebration.
Oh, yes,
it was phenomenal. People cheered as soon as your face came on the camera. And you called me, and I appreciate that so much. And so that puts us in the top 1% of paid speakers in the world.
Right.
And I'm proud of this. There's been less than 350 people ever inducted into the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. There's less than 90 living members of the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And there's, as of this recording, there's 10 African Americans in the Hall of Fame.
10 African Americans
on planet Earth, and
I'm
I'm one of them.
I gotta shake your hand.
Thank you, man. That's decades of work, man.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I've watched you for all these years unfold and become excellent. You went for it. You went for it, and you shifted gears in front of. What people don't understand too is that the work that we do, we're growing in the public's eye.
In the public eye, in front of people.
A mechanic is
in the garage.
In the garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're out in the front speaking and teaching, you're growing in the public's eye.
And failing.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. You're falling,
teaching,
failing, growing, developing, unfolding in front of everybody.
In front of everybody.
There's that whole goldfish thing is real.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? People will criticize your tie.
That part.
Your shoe,
the tone of your voice,
whatever it is. I don't like the way he said that. And you
take stuff out of context.
That's a big one.
Oh my gosh, they'll take one clip from a whole hour and a half teaching.
Right.
They'll take 30 seconds of it and. I'm like,
and they do that now on the internet all the time.
Oh my God,
people all the time.
Clickbait.
They didn't even say it.
Yeah,
they didn't even say it that way. You don't even understand what he said before that.
That part, and then with AI, you can now type words, and it sounds like and it looks like you. I mean, so it's crazy, man. We live in an interesting.
So we
world.
have to just stay focused.
Yes, sir.
Live the best, excellent life.
Yes,
and become Teflon.
Come on.
To all of that stuff that comes out.
That's right. That's right. I want to do something for all your viewers and listeners. I want to give them a free chapter. I want to give you a free chapter of this book. Of course, I want you to pick up the book everywhere books are sold, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to give you a free chapter of this book just as an appetizer so you can get a good taste. So I want you to go to shiftintoahighergear.com, and I'm going to give you an absolutely free chapter of this incredible book. And I'm going to give you chapter 8, which I think you're going to absolutely adore, because chapter 8 is called Shift Your Posse. Because who you ride with matters.
Yes.
And I make you do in chapter 8 something we talked about on the Today Show. I make you do a posse audit. And what a posse audit is I say, listen, I want you to make a list of the top 25 people that you talk, text, video chat with the most. Mm-hmm. Make a list of those people. And then right next to that name, I want you to put whether that person is adding to your life or subtracting from your life, your joy, your peace, your fulfillment, your contentment, your happiness. It blows people's minds when they do that posse audit.
Right.
They're like, man, I got the wrong posse in my life.
Right.
I ask another question in the chapter that this is the chapter I'm going to give you for free. When you go to shiftintoahighergear.com, I'm going to give it to you absolutely free. I ask you another question. I say, if I were to give you $100,000 cash today to grow, scale, or start a business, would you hire your 5 closest friends to help you run that business? Mm-hmm. Most people, I ask that question all over humanity, all over the world.
Right.
99% of people say, heck no, I wouldn't let my 5 closest friends help. If I got an infusion of $100,000, I would not trust my 5 closest friends to help me grow and scale a business with that money.
Right.
And I tell audiences and I tell people in coaching and all in masterminds, I would. Because I learned something that one of my mentors, Dr. George Fraser, taught me a long time ago in his book, Click. He said, your friends are God's way of apologizing to you for your family.
I love it.
Your friends are God's way of saying my bad for your crazy family, right? So it doesn't make sense to have broke, busted, disgusted family and broke, busted, disgusted friends. Have smart friends on purpose. So while this is an interview, Me and this gentleman are friends, right? So have smart friends, have connected friends, have brilliant friends, have well-traveled friends.
Those that
on
are
purpose.
But those that are for you.
Yeah, man.
I remember I was saying something along these lines at Agape, and a woman texted me and she said, I realized that my whole posse, all we do is gossip. She said, we just get together and talk about people.
Wow.
She said,
at least she's honest and
she was
self-aware.
honest. She said I had to shift my whole group of people that I hung out with.
Exactly.
But she did some inner reflection.
Yes.
And realized, she was.
And that's what that free chapter is going to do for them.
Or complaining, one of the two. So
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I just want to
shift into a higher gear. Hey, also tell them, how they can be in contact with you. You have a website.
Sure,
absolutely. What's
going
on there?
So we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. We're at Dr. Delatorro on all of our social media. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Delatorro. If you enjoyed the conversation when we were talking about healing from past relationship traumas and things of that nature, breakups, things that divorce, any of those things, go to healingwithintegrity.com, get our free online course, go to shiftintoahighergear.com. Okay, to get the free chapter of the book and pick up the book everywhere books are sold. And if you're a communicator, if you're a speaker, author, coach, consultant, you're someone who out there is sharing your message and you seek to ascend your career to become one of the top 1% of speakers in the world. You want to write books, you want to do television, you want to do media. I'd love to train you. I'd love to mentor you. I'd love to teach you what my mentors have taught me. So go to crushthestage.com. That's crushthestage.com to learn about our quarterly boot camp that we do once a quarter. It's 4 days. It's one of the most intense trainings you'll ever experience in your life, but you'll get better. It's been endorsed by the National Speakers Association and Toastmasters International. Beautiful. So I'm very, very grateful for the work that we've had a chance to do. And I'm excited because my mentor, my big brother here, told me that everything I've done over the last 23 years is a vibrational foundation.
Come on now.
For what is yet to come.
Come on now. Why? Because you are evoking the law of eternal progression. This universal presence is infinite.
Yes, sir.
So wherever you are, you're just getting started.
Come on, somebody. Wherever we are, we just get started.
Shifting into a higher gear. This is Michael B. Beckwith saying, as he's been discussing today in his own way, take back your mind. Don't let it be hijacked by mediocrity.
Come on.
Let it be pulled by a greater vision so that you can be more you. Peace and blessings, everyone.
God bless.
Peace and blessings. One of the most important things that needs to be a part of our toolbox as we grow, develop, and unfold to our greater yet to be is the word practice. We can learn all about the universal principles that govern the universe and govern our lives. We can learn all about metaphysics that leads to a level of mysticism. We can learn all about it. But we don't want to just learn about it and stay there. We want to be it. We want it to be embodied within us. This is one of the reasons why we meditate, so that we're not just, as I've said over the years, intellectualizing the spiritual realm. We're spiritualizing the intellect. So that all that we've heard on Take Back Your Mind, all the books we read, all the seminars we go to, meditation provides the way to embody and synthesize these teachings. Without that, we have spiritual constipation. We have all that stuff going in, none of it is assimilated, and it gets stuck within us. So I'm always inviting people to practice. Practice the art and the science of meditation. That's one thing you can do. Just practice now. We turn within in this moment. Hands on our lap facing upward is a sign of receptivity and allowing. Tap the space between the two eyebrows. Just tap it a little bit and say to yourself, I can now see without my eyes. I can see without my physical eyes. You're just giving yourself permission to activate right seeing through your awareness and not just through the physical instruments of eyes. As we turn within, we invite ourselves to have an intention for this brief sitting. Our intention is to have a greater realization of our oneness with life capital L life, we can call it the presence of God, love, beauty, and intelligence. But through our sitting, we're calling it forth as the activity of our awareness. We're not just knowing about it, we're becoming a vibrational living intention to absolutely allow this life, this presence, to be the activity of our awareness. So we sit with intention to wake up to our glorious nature. How's that for an intention? I'm sitting to wake up to my glorious nature. Say that, back straight, without being rigid, feet on the ground, slight smile on the face. Intend to wake up. The mind drifts into fantasy, inner conversations, futurizing. Come back to your sacred breath and the vibration of your intention to wake up to your glorious nature. Beyond the shifting personality identification into an awareness that your life is the eternal, immortal life of the living one. Be still and know. This moment of quietude, stillness, silence, solitude, we're awakening to who and what we really are, an emanation of pure spirit. We're waking up. We give thanks for this and more than words can say or convey, and we allow it to be so. And so it is. Amen. As you slowly open your eyes, be aware that where you are is at the center of the entire universe, because the center is everywhere. It has no circumference. Keep your practice regularly, and I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful day.